Good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar series on sustainable microfinance in the MENA region. Today, we have our dedicated session on sustainable microfinance in Egypt. This is a webinar series that is organized by EDERA in coordination and collaboration with the local networks of each country. We have had the sessions from Yemen, Tunisia, and Jordan. And today we have the session in Egypt, co-organized with Sanabel, the microfinance network of Arab countries. The webinar series are financed by SANAD, Fund for MSMEs Technical Assistance Facility. And we thank also our media partner, FinDev Gateway, who will be and who is communicating about these events across its communication channels. For this session today, and as you know, in each of the sessions, we will be recording the presentations, and as well, we are translating the materials, enabling them access to everyone across the region in French, Arabic, and English, and they will be available in the website of the webinar series, which will be shared with you shortly. As of today, we have, and as usual, we have some quick housekeeping rules or recommendations. First, that we have, we're offering the interpretation in French and Arabic. So for those that are needing these services, please don't hesitate to connect in the right channel. You can introduce yourself in the chat. As you see, we have, or this is a meeting, Zoom meeting, so that everyone can see who is connected. Turn on your cameras, also turn on your microphones for the discussion, and participate actively. As you see in your screens, we have the speakers with us with their cameras on. We will welcome shortly to them very warmly, and to all of you as speakers and participants, while the other ones are talking, just remind to keep your microphone in mute so that there are no interruptions while the others speak. This webinar is hosted by Finance in Motion for SANAD Fund for MSMEs Technical Assistance Facility, with us is Mrs. Catherine Martin, and as well, Mr. Rani Saad, Executive Director from Sanabel, the Microfinance Network of Arab countries. I will be your moderator. My name is Natalia Real Becarrillo, Director of EDERA Sustainable Solutions. And how this webinar will go, we will do a brief introduction from our side, from Sanad, from Sanabel, and from myself. I'll share the results of the study that we had last year on sustainable microfinance in the MENA region, showing the results that were found for the Egyptian microfinance sector. Today we have a great set of speakers. From the Central Bank of Egypt, we have Mrs. Shaima El Demeri, working in the Sustainability Department of the Central Bank, and Mrs. Rasha Yosri, Head of the MSMEs Department. As well, we have Mr. Ahmed Nawar from the Alexandria Business Association SME Project, who is the Head of the Marketing Department, and Mr. Ahmed Korshed, the CEO of the microfinance institution Tamwili Microfinance. Lastly, we will have also the inputs from Mr. Ahmed Abdel Wahab. He's a senior bank advisor, MSME expert working with different microfinance institutions. So with this introduction of our esteemed speakers, we'll welcome to all our participants, to the panelists, and to our co-hosts. And we will get started with a brief presentation from Sanad Fund for MSMEs Technical Assistance Facility. While I share the screen, Katia, you are welcome to join here and greet the audience.
Thank you very much, Natalia, and welcome to this webinar on sustainable microfinance in Egypt that is supported by the Sanad Fund for MSME Technical Assistance Facility, which is managed by Finance in Motion. I would like also to thank the organizers, Natalia, and the team. Also, thank you to our colleagues at the Central Bank, our partners from Sanabel, our media partner, FinTech Gateway, and also all the speakers and all the participants who are joining us today. We are very pleased from our side to facilitate this very important discussion with our Egyptian partners on the topic. Promoting sustainable financial practices is an important part of the Sanad's mission to support growth and employment, encourage innovation, and build inclusive ecosystems. As a reminder, Natalia, you can go to the next slide. The Sanad Fund finances micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and low-income households in the Middle East, North and Sub-Saharan Africa. The fund does it via qualified local lenders and thus promotes economic development and job creation in the region where it operates. The technical assistance facility, so that's the next slide, aims to deploy effective, targeted, and innovative technical assistance measures to maximize the impact and also the reach of the fund's development financing activities among MSMEs, again, in the region where we operate. The Sanad Technical Assistance Facility, you can see it here, promotes entrepreneurship and MSME development through its four core themes or focal topics, and they are sustainability, women's empowerment or female empowerment, agricultural finance, and digitalization. We have recently developed our sustainability program through which the Fund's T facility aims to strengthen the capacity of our partners and also MSMEs to mitigate and adapt to the impact of climate change and thus continue to deliver economic value and growth. That's the next slide. As you can see on the next slide, as part of our sustainability program, we focus on both sector activities to raise awareness and to facilitate knowledge exchange. And also we focus on activities at partner and SME level to help them gain basic knowledge and provide more in-depth targeted support on topics such as sustainable strategy development, sustainable agriculture, climate risk management, ENS, and ESG monitoring and compliance. Today's webinar, as mentioned by Natalia, is already, I think, the fourth webinar in our webinar series, which will take place across the region. And today we'll cover the results of the study that was conducted last year. We'll discuss with our Egyptian partners the situation, the developments in the field in Egypt, and I hope you will find it useful and helpful. So with this, again, welcome to everyone, and I'm handing over to you, Natalia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katia, and apologies for this initial slides showing the comments. Now let me share again the presentation, and we continue with our with the following presentations. So just to be clear, are you seeing the right slide?
Yes.
Yes, all good.
Yes.
Okay. So with this, I invite Mr. Rani Saad. You're welcome to join us and give us a little bit overview from the work of Sanabel and as well your view on sustainable microfinance in the country.
Okay, good morning, everyone. First, let me thank Sanat Fund for MSME and Hidera for this project, which helped raise the MFI's awareness of sustainable finance and exchange knowledge between MFIs and between the countries as well. Sanabel, the idea of establishing Sanabel was taken into consideration due to the shortage of Arabic language training resources, and also there is no meetings or conferences for the practitioners in the Arab region. So in 2002, Sanabel was established. 17 representatives from 7 countries. They are gathering in Tunisia, and by law and membership criteria was adopted and the executive committee was elected. In 2004, we start was incubation registered in Egypt and the USA, and first executive director was hired. And also in 2004, it was the first conference held in Egypt. And between 2004 and 2006, Sanabel built its team, the first team, and they start working in the conference and in trainings. Sanabel already created with our members and friends over 35 training materials in 2 languages, in English and Arabic, and held till now 15 conferences, over 5,000 participants from 40 countries. Who we are and what we do. Sanabel, we are the microfinance network of the Arab country. It's a regional membership-based network. We support shaping the microfinance sector in the Arab countries based on the good practice and the experience. Also, we provide capacity building, research, information exchange, and networking opportunity for our members. And also, we provide some support to the national networks. About the conference of Sanabel, since the annual conference is the main event for the networking and for Sanabel, so let me talk about the next conference and who's attend the conference. Sanabel conference is, let's go back for the slide. Sanabel conference dynamic platform initiating and working for relationship among practitioners of the microfinance, and it's attended by the microfinance pioneer, policymaker, expert, investors, fintech, donors, research, rating agencies, senior level executive, and more. And also the annual conference gives you the opportunity to talk to each other from different countries, one-to-one conversation of what we are working on and get some advice from someone who has already applied that from a different region. Also, attending the annual conference provides with tools or skills which cannot of learning at the conference allow topic. The next annual conference, this year, it will be under the patronage of the Central Bank of Jordan. It will be held in the Dead Sea between 21 and 22 November. And the theme this year, it's a global trend and their impact on the development of the microfinance sector regionally. Through this conference, the participant will go through the next point. It's the level of preparedness of financial service provider, promoting financial inclusion, building resilience amidst global challenges, empowering micro entrepreneurs, financial literacy sensitive approaches, and balancing financial and social impact. Now, we talk about the overview of sustainability in Egypt. Over the last 2 years, we have seen a movement, Egypt, toward the green energy and sustainable finance, especially after the government published the vision in 2030. Also, we have seen response from the microfinance sector. Most of the MFIs is in some indicators such as minimizing carbon brands, minimizing waste management, and maximizing agriculture loans and the clean energy loans also. And the government and the investor role, there is still a gap in promoting sustainable strategy and how to implement them, raising the awareness and understanding of the importance of the green product, especially in the light of the climate change. The government needs also to increase the awareness of the government program in fostering sustainability. Last year in 2022 conference, can we go to the next slide? In 2022 conference, it was held in Egypt in November as well. SANEP organized a panel with Sanad and Hidera to discuss the research, sustainable microfinance in the MENA region, finding and ways forward to increase the awareness for the MFIs about the sustainability finance. This session revealed the survey result from Hidera Sustainable Solution, combined with further analysis based on the broader context and interview undertaken with microfinance stakeholders. The speaker described the status of the green microfinance across the MENA region regarding the initiative and practices you receive microfinance institution. And strange to increase the climate. Session provided a better understanding of MFI's green microfinance needs and the extent to which MFIs are aware of or complying with the local international standard and regulation, and explore the opportunities extending green microfinance service. Now, just thank you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the other speakers. Thank you, Natalia. Okay, I'm just last slides, closing remark and the reflections, then I will leave the mic to Natalia again.
Yes.
It's just 5 points quick. Financial and social inclusion are critical to the well-being of the communities and their inhabitants. Microfinance institutions in the region also have evolved over the last 3 decades to respond to client needs, expanding financial demand and the regulatory requirements. Success across the region in the microcredit, microfinance and financial inclusion can be summarized by the ability of the stakeholder to adapt and keep up with their changing environment. Recently, and during the corona pandemic, we have observed the fast and the successful advance in the digitalization to cope with closure and lockdown and restriction. Most institutions have served along with their client. Last point about today, we observe the adverse effect of climate change, and as a community of financial inclusion stakeholder, will cooperate and coordinate efforts to support a more sustainable development approach to the current generation and the generations that will follow us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rani, for these last messages. I consider the work of Sanabel very relevant. The opportunity, as you said, the conference that will take place next month already, that will be an opportunity for microfinance stakeholders to To join, there will be a specific workshop on green microfinance. So we are preparing the setup with this webinar to further raise awareness on the topic. As Rani has mentioned, and the context of this webinar series is to share these results that we had of the study that we have conducted last year, which it was this first attempt to understand what is happening at internal level with the microfinance institutions in terms of their strategy, the execution of plans to assess or identify the risks, environmental risk of the clients, and what is the offer from different microfinance institutions. As there was not that much published by then, we consider these results country by country very relevant. And we hope that with all the audience that we have here today, consultants, microfinance institutions, impact investors, that the gaps that we are looking at, those challenges that the institutions have, the needs that they express, that we can develop programs and offerings such as this webinar, workshops, awareness raising to further support institutions that will have a triple impact with their clients. With this introduction, I invite you, we will be sharing the link on the chat to read the study that is published under the SANAD Technical Assistance Facility website. It is available in Arabic, in French, and in English, and it is very detailed on what have been the results that we have seen, but at global level. So you will see their graphics and figures comparing country by country, and now in these webinars you will have the opportunity to see in much more in depth. Who has participated in this study? We had over 40 financial institutions. For the case of Egypt, we will see the results from these institutions, and we have taken out the results from Buy and Go and PPI, as they don't reflect the work of microfinance. So we will see the results of these 6 microfinance institutions in the graphs that I will be sharing. This study, how it has worked, we have enabled a digital survey to fill out by the microfinance institutions. The survey was also available in the 3 languages, and after the survey, we have also conducted an initial workshop on green microfinance to raise awareness on the topic with the multiple microfinance institutions across the region. So what or how was this study constructed? We have developed at EDERA a measuring framework that it's called the Green Microfinance Penetration Index. The objective with this was to understand, or to have a methodology in order to understand what is the development of each country on green inclusive finance and being able to compare at different dimensions. This framework consists of 3 dimensions. First, we are assessing how is the enabling environment. So are also indicators that are not directly dependent or of the microfinance institution itself, but rather of the context and surrounding of the institution. So we are having a look to what is the demand, what are the regulations in place, are there partners, international or national, that are developing green finance programs, and are there dedicated programs on this regard for the financial service providers. And we have different levels of assessment: none, low, medium, and high. In the case of Egypt, we had a look, and these were the results. We have a microfinance institution that that commented there is a high demand, or they have partners in place, dedicated program, but for the others it's rather they perceive there is a rather lower enabling environment for them. In this case, what we see is that in terms of the challenges, in terms of the demand and partners, are the largest assessed indicators. For the second dimension, that it's the execution, we are assessing what is the environmental strategy and the risk management of microfinance institutions. We had as indicators if institutions have in their mission and vision a commitment in their environment to have an environmental strategy, if they are reporting how is their risk management at the institutional level and also at client level. We see here two leading microfinance institutions with assessments or objectives in their mission, also with reporting practices and with assessment at institutional level, but practicing environmental risk assessment for their clients compared to some institutions that are doing so in the MENA region. And last dimension is the offer. We are seeing what is the offer in terms of the financial products, also of the outreach of them, how is the non-financial services, and then we have these four dimensions: beginner, basic, proficient, and advanced. And here we have from the results the microfinance institutions already offering some financial products, and compared to the MENA region, we have rather lower outreach in Egypt, larger indicators or larger results in terms of sustainable agriculture, and for households and businesses as well as some offer. So we are going to go one step, indicator by indicator. Microfinance institutions said that, or mentioned that there was no specific regulation in their country that obliged the organization to take action on environment protection, except of one institution that says so. They also mentioned that there was no specific regulation in the country recommending providing benefits to the organization if they take action on environment protection. Remember, these are results from summer 2022. And if there is any green microfinance program in the region, most of the institutions didn't know about them. In terms of strategy, only 2 microfinance institutions have strategic plan or a person in charge. One institution is reporting to the board and investors, and 2 institutions are reporting their performance to the public. So we see here, at least we have some positive news. There are institutions planning on it. There is some consciousness and awareness on the importance of having an environmental strategy. And we will see why is this the case. So now, if you remember from the results from Jordan, from Yemen, from Tunisia, we have different types of activities related to risk management at client level and institutional level. In the case of Egypt, we see that the results in terms of client risk management is rather low, and only one institution is supporting the clients to developing businesses, promoting green practices or products. And despite that there is not that much implementation, there are 2 institutions that are planning to support on this regard, and also are planning to train clients on practices to reduce or avoid negative impacts on the environment. At the level of the institution, we see implementations of different types of activities, training on the staff on practices to reduce or avoid negative impacts on the environment, conducting market assessment studies, monitoring negative impacts on the environment of the institution itself, categorizing loan applications according to environmental risk assessment, performing environmental risk analysis of the institution, and performing risk analysis of the loan application of the clients. And the activity that it's planned the most is a training on the staff. So you start first with your own institution, and then you can plan training with the clients. In terms of the challenges that we have identified, institutions were mentioning that at the level of the institution, they lack proper tools, lack knowledge there is a high perception of high complexity of the topic and lack of collaboration with other stakeholders. At the level of the clients, we see the same, also the same challenges, and mention more the lack of collaboration with other stakeholders, and unmotivated staff as well to be one of the challenges. So we have seen already what in terms of the strategy, in terms of this execution, and now we are going to see what is the developments in terms of offer. We have the offer in sustainable agriculture, microfinance institutions offering sustainable practices in crop production, in livestock management, energy management for agriculture, waste management, and one institution for fishery, soil management, water management. But in terms of barriers, still the lack of demand has been mentioned as being a problem for the development of the portfolios, as well as the high complexity for which technical assistance could support the complexity on the subject, and more marketing efforts in creating the demand and understanding also what are the needs of the client so that the technologies and practices can be adapted for them. In terms of the offer for households and MSMEs, we have the offer of financing, of waste management, renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency measures. Only one institution by then doing so, and up to 3 offering waste management, recycling, green economy practices. And on the last aspects that we have seen, the source of funds for green products, microfinance institutions are having access to investors' credit lines, international development cooperation, or results-based finance grants. As well, we see 2 microfinance institutions that have alliances with other actors, but still other 2 that are doing these efforts by themselves. So when asked to the institutions if there could be stakeholders in the microfinance sectors to support them, they mentioned consultants, regulators, investors, NGOs, local authorities, governmental agencies, rating agencies to be these type of stakeholders, especially regulators and investors taking a high place compared to other countries where that's not the case. And as last insight from the results in Egypt are the tools that the institutions know in regards to the environmental performance management. And most of the institutions, they don't, so 50% of the institutions, they don't know about the tools, while 50% they knew about the Green Index or SPI, the Universal Standards for Social and Environmental Performance Management, or other tools from investors, from Agents for Impact or FMO or others. So if you have any questions about these results, we can discuss after in the Q&A session. But with this overview, I'm happy now to share now the floor with the Central Bank of Egypt, which will be covered and addressed by Mrs. Rasha Yusri and Mrs. Shaima El Demeri. So with this, Rasha and Shaima. So who will start?
Good morning.
Good morning, Rasha. We hear you well?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's a pleasure to be with you here today in order to share our experience regarding the microfinance and how the Central Bank is working on supporting the microfinance ecosystem during the past couple of years. As you all know, that the microfinance play a vital role in achieving the financial inclusion targets, which is one of the top of the agenda of the Central Bank of Egypt. As you know, microfinance contribute to the achieving of sustainable development goals in terms of the social dimension of the SDG. It helped in the poverty alleviation and promoting the financial inclusion of all the citizens. It helped in job creation and increase the overall economic growth rate, which is part of the Egypt Vision 2030. Okay, let's move. Let's have a look on the microfinance structure here in Egypt. We have different players in the microfinance. As you all know, that the banking sector is granting whether direct lending to microfinance or indirect lending through MFIs. And another pillar through MFIs, which are under the regulatory authority, the financial regulatory authority, companies and NGOs. And another player in the market is MENA, micro and small development agency. Let's move to the next slide, please. As you see here, there is a development in the microfinance market structure during the past years. Starting from December 2016, the number of companies which are operating here in Egypt were only 3 companies. Now we reached the 22 companies, and for Cat A, Cat B, and Cat C, there is a development. Let me give you a quick intro on the different categories. Cat A is greater than 50 million portfolio. Regarding category B, they range between 10 and 50 million, and category C are less than 50 million. Okay. Natalia? Okay, let me give you a quick intro to the Central Bank of Egypt efforts during the past period. There is a kind of collaboration between the different stakeholders which are operating in the microfinance industry. We have been working together with the Financial Regulatory Authority, the Microfinance Federation, and MENA, and all the stakeholders in the microfinance in order to develop this industry. In 2017, the Central Bank of Egypt issued the regulation in order to include the microfinance lending, whether it's direct lending or indirect lending through MFIs, in the 20%, which then increased to 25%. The obligatory mandatory ratio, which is directed of the bank portfolio in the MSME on total. And you will see the impact of this circular on the performance of the microfinance during the period from 2017 up till now. There is a huge development in the microfinance numbers in terms of outstanding and the number of beneficiaries. Also, the Central Bank of Egypt financed a 1 training program of the Federation to support the Cat B and Cat C NGOs. Such a training resulted in more than 1,000 staff of those NGOs were trained on risk management, internal audit, and so on. Moreover, the Central Bank of Egypt agreed on 2019 in order to finance the institutional graduation program, which will have a deep dive into it in the other slides. Natalia, could you please? Okay. As you can see here, the development which has happened to the microfinance starting from December 2016 up to now. The number of beneficiaries increased from 2 million to reach to about 4.7 million, and the number of the outstanding microfinance portfolio has increased from 6.4 billion to reach now to 78.3. So there is a huge growth in the microfinance. Please. Regarding the direct lending from the banking sector, there is also increase from 2020 up till now by more than 24% of the direct lending. This direct lending is done through 5 banks only, which are operating in the direct lending for microfinance individuals. The indirect lending from the banking sector to MFIs has increased by more than 131% during the period from 2020 and up till now. Would you please move to the next slide? Here are the top banks which are directly lending microfinance clients. National Bank of Egypt, Alex Bank, Misr Bank, Bank de Caire, and Agriculture Bank of Egypt. Would you please? The Agriculture Bank of Egypt, it represents 50% of the market share of the microfinance direct lending. 89% of the bank portfolio is directed to the agriculture sector, which help more or less in sustainable development. My colleague Shaimaa Demiri will go through the efforts of the central bank regarding the sustainable finance. Shaimaa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rasha. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We would like to start over with sustainable finance in the Central Bank of Egypt. We will begin with the effort that the Central Bank has performed during the last period to support the sustainable finance. Natalia, please, the next slide. Then the next again. Okay. Since 2013 up to 2022, Central Bank of Egypt has started to have a membership in a lot of the international organization to allow to have the best practice around the world from different stakeholders. And during our roadmap for that, we will highlight on our period during 2016 just till 2022. CBE has executed some sustainable finance initiative to enhance the mindset of sustainable around Egypt. And starting 2019, a sustainability department had been issued in the Central Bank Egypt to monitor the sustainability and sustainable finance in the banking sector. Starting 2021, exactly on July 2021, we issued our sustainable finance guiding principle. And as well, we were starting to build the capacity of sustainable finance in the banking sector, so training the staff and the employees of the banking sector to build the awareness regarding the sustainability and its effect. On 2022, early 2022, we conduct a gap analysis on the banking sector, on the Egyptian banking sector, to identify the opportunity and challenges that meet the banks in Egypt regarding sustainability. And actually, by end of 2022, we conduct a carbon footprint, not only on the head office of the Central Bank of Egypt, but also to all the headquarters of the banks in Egypt to measure their footprint and taking action to minimize their emission. And leveraging on the gap analysis and the part of the internal activity that performed on the banking sector, we issued by November 2022 our binding regulation regarding sustainable finance. starting with, this is highlighting on the guiding principles that we issued on July 2021. We start over with building the capacity and the knowledge to build and develop the capability of the bank's employees, and setting a training plan regarding the sustainability. And we moved over to enhance the sustainable finance as a second principle. It's working on to integrate the sustainability and integrate the sustainable finance in terms of environmental and social element, along with the government rules into the banking financing activity. The third principle was involvement of the stakeholder. We enhance the cooperation with different stakeholders, either national or international level. The first principles we highlighted on the managing the climate change risk by identifying and managing the climate change risk in different areas, and to addressing the issue of the climate change risk. The fifth principle was applying the principle of sustainability on banks' internal activity and operation, with working on avoiding the negative impact and enhance the positive impact of environmental and social. And the last principle was regarding reporting. It's preparing a periodic reporting on the banking activity in the sustainable finance. Moving on to the next slide through our main regulations, the binding regulation, where among these regulations we have 4 main pillars. We're starting over with the structure, with the aim of having and establishing an independent department in each bank around Egypt that we specialize in the sustainability and sustainable finance. This is number 1. And the second one is to the policy and procedure. We work on integrating the sustainable finance policy and procedure within the bank credit and investment policy. And regarding the reporting, we have a binding regulation for reporting. We prepare periodic reporting, either quarterly or semi-annual and an annual report, to have more monitoring on different aspects regarding the sustainable finance. And last one was relating on consulting an environmental expert in the assessment of the environmental impact on large corporate and large-scale projects that have been financed by banks. And through our periodic reports that we executed the last period, we highlighting on our output regarding the microfinance sustainable project, where we could see, as my colleague Russia had in hand and mentioned in her earlier presentation, that was mainly regarding the social impact, as we see a large project regarding the social project, the social pillar in the ESG, regarding the health, the education, and the handcraft. And although that the social pillar was having the large pillar and the large line of shares regarding the microfinance project, however, the environmental was mainly focusing on the sustainable agriculture, which, as Natalia mentioned in her presentation regarding the agriculture offers regarding sustainable agriculture, we see that the main sector of our microfinance was mentioning or triggering the modern irrigation method and the natural pets management and crop rotation and renewable energy. These are the main focusing on the microfinance. I will leave the floor to my colleague Russia to enhance more about the microfinance in the Central Bank of Egypt. Thank you.
Thank you, Shema. Regarding the ecosystem of the microfinance, we've been working on the development of the ecosystem of the microfinance through enhancing the capabilities of the CAT-C NGOs. Those NGOs have a outreach in different rural areas, which banks doesn't have their network in those areas. So we have been working with the Federation and IFC on a project regarding the institutional upgrade program for microfinance for 41 NGOs, the largest NGOs in category C, their portfolio is between 4 and 10 million. This program aimed to build the capabilities of the staff on those NGOs, having policies and procedures, the governance regulations on those NGOs, having risk management, internal control, facilitating access to finance to those NGOs, because most of the banks go to financing large companies and Cat A NGO only. Those NGOs doesn't have any access to finance. So we have been working closely with those NGO on those main pillars, and we are building the capacity of the staff in the federation in order to implement this program on larger number of NGOs after we finish our program. Next slide, please. This program is implemented through 3 main phases. The first phase, including 11 NGO, which will be implemented, which was implemented by IFC team, and we have finished this phase 1 program. Second phase, including 15 NGOs, which will be implemented by the Federation under the supervision of IFC, and the third phase will be implemented totally by Federation team. Next slide, please. This is one photo from the training session, which is done in phase 1 and phase 2 regarding the institution graduation. Next slide. Such a program include workshops, training, coaching, and mentorship. We focus on mentorship on those NGO, field visit to those NGOs to make sure that the training which they got is being implemented. There is some kind of follow-up with those NGOs, field visits, and different seminars and webinars for those associations. Next slide, please. We have finished the first phase of the program, and as you can see, the growth in the portfolio of those NGOs has increased from 122 to 178 million, and most of those NGOs are in Upper Egypt. Next slide, please. Currently, we are implementing the second phase of the program, including 15 NGO. Currently, we did 6 workshops to 191 credit officers and risk and internal audit staff, and there is a coaching and mentorship to 3 NGOs. Hopefully, we will by the end of this year we will finish this stage, this phase. There is other efforts done by the Central Bank of Egypt and the Financial Regulatory Authority in order to support microfinance. One of those initiatives is the Responsible Finance and Consumer Protection initiative. This is done mainly in order to ensure the transparency and the consumer protection of microfinance entities. And 2 banks are participating in this certification. Next slide. The last but not least, the Central Bank of Egypt also is supporting microfinance digitization through granting agent bank to MFIs. We are working on a project to granting agent bank to 30 MFIs, and most of them got the approval to be agent bank, so that they can issue Visa debit card. And another thing, we are ensuring their reporting to iScore to ensure all the microfinance institutions are reporting to iScore and CBE. Thank you all.
Thank you very much to Rasha. And
Thank you.
You hear me well? Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much to Rasha and to Shaima El-Demeri, Deputy General Manager of Sustainable Finance. Unfortunately, she had to leave right away her intervention, but Mrs. Rasha Yosri, Head of Micro and small businesses, the MSMEs department from Central Bank of Egypt will stay, and we will have the opportunity to discuss in the Q&A. Also as background, and if you remember in Tunisia, for the session in Tunisia, we were at the AFI Global Policy Forum participating the Autorité Contrôle de la Microfinance from Tunisia and Central Bank of Egypt, and also the Bank of Maghreb from Morocco, and all of these institutions were engaged and participating in the Inclusive Green Finance Working Group. So for us, it's an honor and also very encouraging to see that there is work from regulators in this regard that will support the microfinance sector to further strive in their green microfinance journeys. So with this, let us now give the floor to the microfinance institutions. We will have first, and in alphabetical order, the presentation from Mr. Ahmed Nawar from the Alexandria Business Association, and then we will continue with Mr. Ahmed Khorshid, finalizing them with the insights from Mr. Ahmed Abdel Wahab. Mr. Nawar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Ahmed Nawar. I'm a head of marketing at Alexandria Business Association, the SME project. It's my pleasure to be part of this webinar today and to be a speaker on behalf of Alexandria Business Association. Next, please. When we are talking about Alexandria Business Association, the SME project, we are a leader in the microfinance industry for more than 33 years of serving the SMEs in Egypt. The project was launched by 1990 in cooperation with the USAID. And after 4 years, we achieved the full financial sustainability for us. By 1998, we started providing even a consultancy services outside Egypt to other MFIs. By 1999, we launched the group lending programs to serve a new customer segment in the Egyptian community as well, and to help them more. The non-financial service as well, we didn't ignore it. So by 2000, we launched the Towards Self-Employment program. This was a step for some people who search for work for them to start their own business. The international prize, which we got it by 2001 from the AG Fund International. Next, please. By 2006, we exceed the 1 billion Egyptian pound loan disbursement. This is after 16 years of launching the project in Egypt. As I mentioned from my previous point regarding the non-financial services as well. And so we established and opening a training center, which is MEDIC, and another one, which is the showroom. Showroom, it's mainly to support our customers in marketing and selling their products and their work. So it's another way how to help our customers through its business journey, and not only it's a matter of lending the money to them. 2008, it was establishment of the PAIL fund to support the clients in case of some situations or bad situations which may face, like the death, the disability, the crisis. We launched after that the life and the disability insurance, which is free for our customers. The pilot launch of the YAS programs as well by 2010. During 2022, we launched more than 20 new branches to reach 100. By this year, I mean 2023, we reached 112 branch, covering more than 19 governorates all over Egypt. What's our vision? Our vision, we are a leading finance house which is developing every day. We are developing because we have to, as we mentioned, and the customer needs are changing on the same time. So we have to develop ourselves, upgrade ourselves to match the customer's needs and serve them in the best way. One of the simple example, which is the online sales, which is booming in Egypt now. A lot of people, they are depending on online sales mainly, and can need support as well to continue and take their next business to the next step. Our mission, it's a matter of providing financing and non-financing services, as I mentioned, part of them, with investment in human and technological resources to support and develop the owners of small businesses and the project to achieve a better life from the economic point socially, while maintaining a balance of financial and social performance. So we are looking how to serve our customers from both ways. As it's mentioned, by 2016, we made, you can say, for the group lending program, which was launched by 1999, we made some upgrades and some modifications and customized programs to some of the clients as well, where we launched a Tumuh program, then followed by My Group program, and then the expansion program. It was after our experience with the group lending, how to give more customized programs and the brands serving this class of customers. The grant programs as well, there was, as I mentioned, 2000 was the TSIB program, and then the step-by-step program as well, which we are working on giving some training to people how to start a profession in electronics maintenance or others like that. The value of loans currently from 1,000 up to 220, and all now we are working from the digital point of view. From 1999, from the launch of the brand, the total loans amount which was launched, it's a 34 billion Egyptian pound. Total number of loans was 6.6 million, and we served more than 2.5 million Egyptian SME during this period. As per August 2023, the number our active clients is 6,011 active client for us, and the loan outstanding portfolio is 4.2 billion. Average loan amount for us now is 11.376. And the repayment rate, we reach it to be 96.7. Next, please. The market share, or our market share for the loan outstanding and the active borrowers. Alexandria Business Association, the SME project, we have 16% market share in terms of the active borrowers, and 10% in terms of loans outstanding, and this is for the whole marketing, as mentioned by the Mrs. Rasha before, regarding the total market for the NGOs and the companies as well. Next, please. These some of the awards which was given or got by the project, I mean, and recognition, like the Arab Gulf Program for the United Nations Development, the Leadership Award in the Arab region, Transparency Award by Sanabil, the Silver Award for Social Performance by CGAP and the Max Market, Platinum Award for Social Performance, and Jamil Award for Sustainable Finance as well. We are rewarding our clients, and this is some of the photo which representing recognition of our clients as well, who we are serving them. If we'll talk about the green economy and the green impact economy, now the green economy as well, we can talk about one of the big projects which was done in collaboration of the Alexandria Business Association and the European Union through one of its program, which is the ENI CBC JIMED program. We launched the Green Impact Project. Green Impact Project, it was focused on 80 entrepreneurs who have a green economy business idea. Mainly, they want to start their business, and their business is mainly towards the green economy. We offered the 400 hours of group training for them and a 240 individual hours of training to all the 80 entrepreneurs. After that, we launched a competition between 40 out of the 80 entrepreneurs to find out which project, business plan, and business idea will fit really the green economy and the objective of the program itself, which is a joint. By 22nd of Jan 2003, ABA and Jaimet celebrated 8 winners, 8 projects who got the 7,500 euros to start or develop their business. Next, please. Some of the winning projects, New Block, it's mainly the main idea of the project, which is producing building block from plastic wastes, which more into supporting the recycling industry in the country. Then Karma, it's established a green poultry farm, which is aimed to produce more organic products, more organic chicken, egg, and other brands. Tak, which is meaning energy in Egypt in English. It's advertising equipment which will work with solar energy. It can replace, you know, that even in Egypt now, evening and all of that stuff, you will find a lot of billboards at the streets which will be with light. So using some good idea like this, while the advertising industry is booming as well, which will move more, that the industry will be, the advertising industry will be more environmental friendly and more into the green economy. Lifebox, which is a very good idea as well, which is a portable solar units, which will generate energy. It can be used for a lot of purposes like water desalination. Maybe you can use it for water pumps if you are talking about householding objectives. Kiwa, it's cultivating using some techniques with aquaponic and sandponic, using the minimal amount of water while producing a high quality product. So you are maximize more efficient production while using the minimal amount of resources. For ABA green loan strategy, ABA is aiming really to support and match the Egypt 2030 vision by financing the green economy projects. We had some ideas, or we tried to find some projects which really it will make a difference. Okay, and some industries, when we'll support them to move into the green economy, this will make a difference for us. So first one was replacement of the motorcycle petrol engine to an electric one, instead of depending now currently in Egypt. I believe that majority of us are Egyptians, so you will find a lot of motorcycles at the streets. So moving them from petrol engine to electric, this will add more and more to the green economy. Financing the kiosk and the small shops, because simply, as we know that the electric engine, the capacity of electric engine, it's around 150 kilometers. So we need to provide the chargers as well. So there is a good idea as well how to provide an electric charger racks. This electric charger racks will be at kiosk, at small shops as well. So for any motorcycle rider, he will be able to stop for around some time. So he will charge his battery, the motorcycle battery, I mean, and so he will continue his job. And on the other hand, we protected our environment and moved to the green energy. Solar energy unit for water desalination stations. This is something very important, especially in the desert pipeline for us. Next, please. The recycling businesses of different industries. And when we are talking about different industries, we can talking about the agriculture industry. We can talk about the rice straw as how to use it. It was one of the big issues we are facing here. So how to move and use them as a fuel. This will be something very important. The plastic waste as well. It's a big industry here in Egypt. So we can work with them. We can work with this industry and support them with the needed finance. During this year, inshallah, and next years, we are planning to launch new branches, new ABA branches. So we are working that these branches will depend mainly on the solar energy, and maybe the branch will have some special criteria because of the units, the solar units. It needs some area more than the normal branches as well. But this is considered in our plan. Solar energy for agriculture industry, especially for the reclaimed lands, which is it's very important to them that supports them through the solar units. It will be easy for them to manage their business and to keep it growing.
Very good.
Thanks a lot. Next.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
from
very much,
ABA.
Mr. Nawar.
Thank you.
It was very interesting to know more about your work and track record, and as well the project that you had financing entrepreneurs and the loans and plans that you have ahead internally at the institution, but also towards your clients.
Yes.
So now I think we can also recognize from the results of the study, where was your position in terms of your offer. Now we give the floor to Mr. Ahmed Khorshid, CEO from Tamwili Microfinance, who will also be sharing with us about their institution and work in green inclusive finance. And just because I see in the chat that there was a question about the definition of green microfinance, and now that we are addressing the work of the microfinance institutions, we are considering here the efforts that the institutions are doing in terms of the offer that they have, the activities that they have within their institution in order to address environmental risks, to decrease their environmental impact, and as well finalizing, and more importantly, the definition of their strategy so that they have objectives to reach, KPIs to monitor and report towards the sector, and work in partnerships and in compliance with the local regulations. Don't hesitate to put your questions. We are receiving a lot of inputs, content. If you have questions, comments, use the chat so that we have an efficient Q&A after the presentations. Mr. Khorshid, you can start.
So, good morning, everyone. Sabah al-khair, bonjour. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ahmed Khorshid. I am the CEO and MD of Microfinance. We can start our first slide, please. So this slide is, we are a 6 years old company. We are established in 2017. In 2018, we obtained the FRA license in August. We start our journey by 13 branches in 5 governorates with 276 employees, with an active customer more than 4,400. In 2019, we reached the 47 branches across 11 governorates, with almost 51,000 clients, with an accumulated outstanding portfolio 1 billion Egyptian pounds, with a partnership, of course, with Egyptian Post. We start our partnerships in 2020 by using our network in 15 governorates with more than 1,200 employees, with new products like the micro insurance and the light vehicle loans, partnerships with e-payments aggregators, and digital and e-payment solutions. Our maturity starts in 2021 with 100 branches across 16 governorates. We reached the 92,000 active clients with an accumulated issuance of 4.6 billion Egyptian pounds, partnerships with Bank Masr, Bank Ducaire, and we start tailor our products to address customer needs. And we received our first Global Economic Award in 2021. In 2022, we continue our expansion by reaching 140 branches, more than 3,000 employees, accumulated issuance of 8 billion Egyptian pounds. We start our products, the green finance products, the youth products, the handicap, and the POS products. We got another award as a best MFI in 2022 from the International Business Magazine, the fastest growing MFI from the top 10 international awards in 2022, and we have our mobile application, and we opened our first green branch in MENA, Governorate of MENA. In 2023, we reached 200 branches with more than 3,800 employees, 146 active clients, accumulated issuance more than 11 billion. We also get the license for having a micro leasing FRA license and the SMEs FRA license. Next, please. So this is a brief who we are. We are the shareholders, Ayadi Investment for Development. They own 40%, and I Capital 30%, which is the investment arm of National Investment Bank. PFI, which is 30%, which is owned by the Egyptian Post Authority. Okay, this is our product. We have a green finance product. We have the traditional products, the micro enterprise, the very small, the light vehicle, machinery finance, youth microfinance. We have microfinancing for disabled, and we have POS finance. And finally, we get the license for the SME finance. Yes, please. Can we move? Yes. The green finance is our strategy. Tamwili adopt the goal of clean and affordable energy as part of sustainable development strategy by implementing green branches, totally entirely by solar energy. Our first branch was in El Minya, a branch Astal, and we opened another branch in El Fayoum Governorate, which is Tamil. The branch is fully working by the solar energy. The company also adopts the goal of climate action as a part of its sustainable development strategy by reducing consumption of energy, water, resources such as the papers, and providing green financing for clean projects that contribute the clean environment and renewable energy projects. Clean working environment. How this through energy consumption, water consumption, and resource consumption. Energy consumption through several adopting central air conditioner in the headquarters and how to control it, reliable on energy saving units, automatically turn off the computer screens who are not used, rationalization in the use of the lighting in the morning period, water consumption, and encourage the employee to pay attention to their water consumption, to monitor our consumption bills, to use water consumption savers, and also in the resources of consumption, the work cycle automations through less printing, the use paper, replace the paper forms by using the tablets through our own offices, and encourage all our employees to minimize paper transaction and adopt electronic models. Also to reduce the printing and using the green boxes, which aims to re-rotate the papers. And maybe this green boxes are through a company called Infoport. So next, please. Then the solar energy funded program. This program, we have issued 9 million Egyptian pounds for 33 beneficiaries. We started this product since almost 8 months ago. This product is mainly financing the customers and the project owners who in the industrial and service activities who would like to utilize the solar energy instead of utilizing the gases and the solar itself. Also, we have another program, which is agriculture funding program. We issued a 91 million Egyptian pounds for almost 3,700 beneficiaries. This product, through our existing products, who help all the customer needs in the agriculture activity, mainly to enable the farmers to purchase their seeds of machines and tools used in agriculture. Next, please. Thank you so much. And maybe, Natalie, we have a video, if you can share it.
Yes, we have the video, but I'm thinking if because the video, let's keep it the nice thing for the end. What we can do, and because of the sake of time, let's give the word now to Mr. Ahmed Abdel Wahab, and who now that we have all the different experiences, Ahmed, you have now the challenge to bring us what are the opportunities, what are the challenges, what are the recommendations for the sector. And because of the time, if we can have the speakers to stay a little bit for addressing the questions and then also showing the video, I very much appreciate it.
Thank you,
Ahmed,
Natalia.
yes.
Thank you, Natalia.
The floor is yours. You have this last mile with energy.
Okay.
Lead us to what is happening in Egypt.
Thank you, and thank you for Finance in Motion and Sanabil for giving me such a great opportunity. Hello for all. My name is Ahmed Abdel Wahab. I'm an ex-banker. I have around 20 years of experience in banking and around 10 years experience in providing capacity building to financial institutions in collaboration with international donors. The presentation will hit the following items: climate change in Egypt, green finance in Egypt, green microfinance in Egypt from the perspective of a capacity building provider. Next, please. So the first item, we will present the current situation of climate change and its negative impact in Egypt. So as per IPCC assessment report, Egypt is considered to be one of the highly vulnerable to the impact of climate change. And the Nile Delta is one of the area that considered to be a hotspot for the extreme climate vulnerability. Also, there is a projection indicate that Egypt will suffer from the following climate change, like sea level rise, water scarcity and deficiency, and also some extreme weather events like heat waves, heavy rains, sand and dust storm, and of course, what happened in Libya last month is considered to be one of the clear evidence for this. So after all this, Egypt has to take some strong action and measures to deal with such situation. Next. So regarding green finance Egypt, in the following slides, I'm going to present some effort by different stakeholders. During the last 2 decades, different national and international stakeholders supported green finance initiatives in Egypt. So the government of Egypt, represented by Ministry of Finance, issued green bonds, and it considered to be the first sovereign green bonds in Egypt and in the region. The amount or the size of the green bonds was around 750 million USD for a 5 years maturity. Regarding Central Bank of Egypt, let's say activities, it's already well presented by our colleagues from Central Bank of Egypt, and thank you to them. Next. For the FRA or the second regulatory body in Egypt who are regulating non-banking financial institutions, so they also did some effort to support, let's say, sustainable financing or green financing by issuing or approving a legal framework for issuing green bonds. And also in July 2021, they issued a decree for a mandatory environmental and social governance for the companies that are working in Egyptian market, and as well as non-banking financial institutions who have issued capital or net ownership of more than 100 million Egyptian pounds. Regarding the financial institution in Egypt, some banks already in collaboration with different international financial institutions like IFC, EBRD, Jeff, they already start to introduce some green products to support sustainable finance. Next, please. Regarding the support from international financial institutions, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development already launched two programs to boost green finance and improve value chain for a green recovery for the Egyptian economy. Also, IFC provided some fund to some Egyptian bank dedicated to medium-sized or medium enterprises to facilitate access to finance and promote sustainable energy financing in Egypt. Just an example of how international financial institution supports Egyptian banks or Egyptian financial institutions. Next, please. So when it comes to green microfinance, Egypt, here we have to explain that the effort in terms of supporting green microfinance Egypt is still limited, comparing with what already offered to other segments like small and medium enterprises. This is because of high challenges that are facing microfinance institutions to offer green financing products. First, the challenge is about lack of capacity to assess the financial return of green products. This is because of the nature of product that microfinance institution already offered, which is considered to be short-term financing, while financing green project needs more time or tenor to reach the break-even point. And also the risk associated with green financing, because it's, let's say, new product and service that MFIs are going to offer, so they have lack of capacity to assess different type of risk which associated to the green financing. From other side, also lack of awareness and incentives for green financing from both sides, supply and demand. Not only from microfinance institution side as a supplier, but also from the demand side. Lack of tailored financial product by MFIs, because as explains the experience of microfinance institutions to offer green loans is very normal, so they couldn't offer tailored financial product and adapt all the feature of the product like tenor, interest rates, and also the amount. Here is also another challenge, difficulties in acquiring appropriate fund. So unavailability of risk guarantee fund or risk sharing fund is considered to be a great challenge for MFIs, especially when they have lack of understanding and assessment of the risk associated with green financing. And also still some, let's say, some type of subsidy for fossil fuel, which make that move to other source of clean energy, let's say, is a little bit expensive comparing with fossil fuel. And last one is the provision of after-sales service, especially for renewable energy equipment. It's also a great barrier especially for customer or consumer who are not willing to pay a big amount for an equipment, and after time they couldn't find a suitable after-sales services like maintenance or availability of spare parts. Next, please. So regarding the opportunities, providing green products and solutions to low-income population, mostly in rural areas. So the most needs came from agriculture sector. So by providing product and solution to low income, so small farmers can have access to appropriate financial products to support them in increasing their productivity. And also MFIs offer a different type of green products and services. They can diversify their portfolio and reducing risk. Also, they can benefit from the technical assistance that could be associated with national and international funds. And also, they can attract or enhance foreign investment opportunity by attracting investors who are interested in offering or supporting MFIs who are providing sustainable products. And also enhancing microfinance institutional reputation locally and globally, and respond to community needs for transforming to sustainable and clean source of energy. And it's also part from the social missions of MFIs or corporate social responsibility for private sector microfinance provider. Next, please. So we don't have too much, let's say, initiative projects that supporting MFIs to offer green product. However, in different Arab countries, Morocco, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, during the past 10 years, there are some projects that support microfinance institution to offer, let's say, sustainable product or green product. So from those projects, we can have the following lesson learned. So first one is about increasing the awareness regarding the negative impact of climate change among all the stakeholders, especially for those in rural area, and create incentives for the front office staff and loan officer to increase the marketing of green loans. As we practice microfinance for long time ago, we know that loan officers are very keen and interested to have good financial returns for this work. So offering good incentive for them will support also the marketing of such type of initiatives, financial products. So partnership with provider to ensure, partnership with provider to ensure better after service. And this point is very important because we can increase the security of providing maintenance and also spare parts, so they can encourage customer client MFIs to go for such equipment, and improve risk management techniques inside MFIs. So by supporting MFIs to have good risk management tools and techniques to assess all type of risk associated with sustainable and green finance, it can help MFIs to go for such markets. And also providing non-financial services to borrowers and also the staff. Okay, last but not least, the recommendation for different type of stakeholders. For investors, they have a lot to do, honestly. They have to incorporate environmental and social governance into investment analysis and decision-making process, not only financial, let's say, financial indicators. Also to develop innovative financing instrument that can help MFIs to minimize the risk associated with green financing. It could be through credit guarantee mechanism or risk sharing. Treating MFIs fairly with a clear and balanced contracts and dispute resolution procedures that can encourage MFI to approach such type of investors. And also balancing long-term returns that reflect the interest of client, retail providers, and investors, working together with other stakeholders to develop common investor standard on sustainable finance. So the next will be recommendation for TA providers. TA providers also has to play a very strong role to enhance the effort for supporting green finance by training partners and key sector players, also increasing awareness and uptake of the energy and resources efficiency and renewable energy solution in the financial sector and among the public. Also to help build the ecosystem for financing energy and resources efficiency measures and renewable energy projects by development marketing, and also strategic advice, not only to the fund, but also maybe it could be also a good point to provide the strategic advices to regulators and policymakers. Okay, last slide. Recommendation for MFIs. Improve the reporting system to better monitor the environmental and social impact of their products and avoid offering products that could harm the environment. Develop the risk management techniques to mitigate better risk associated with green financing. And last one, to integrate environmental and social governance factor in their policies and reporting. So again, thank you for you all. And now I give the floor to Natalie. Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ahmed or Mr. Abdel Wahab. Also curious to know the feedback from microfinance institutions on these recommendations, if feasible or not. But I see that we have already questions in the chat. Thank you to Mrs. Rasha Yusri that you have already replied to one question from Al Majmoua in Lebanon. But and for those that will be watching the recording, let's also share the questions here live to our audience. So let me. So thank you. Let's go now to the questions. We have the first one that was the comment on the participation of FRA in the study. Remember that the study was addressing microfinance institutions with FRA. We had personal interview, and their view and opinions were integrated into the results of this research. So you are also welcome to read the report and have also an overview of what were the needs and challenges that were also shared by regulatory entities. We have as well here so if I can see from the questions, yes, all the presentations and materials will be shared. We have an ongoing website where we are updating and uploading the materials as we have finalized also the translations. You are welcome to visit it. And as well, the videos will be published in Sanad's YouTube channel and distributed also across FinDev websites and portals in the 3 languages. From Govinda Raut from Nepal, we have the question on how do you manage to Mr. Ahmed Khorshid, Tamwili Microfinance. How do you manage your
let me read the question.
Yes.
Hi, Ahmed, it's exciting growth of your microfinance program. How do you manage your horizontal and vertical, including social and
green dimension?
Usually the aggressive growth leads to an accident, I doubt. Because actually we are very well structured. Our growth is studied growth, okay? And if we see our growth starting from 2018 during the 5 years, we are mainly studying our growth, how many and where to open branches. We have a fully automation solution. We are using the IT and the latest technology in offering all our products. We have a very severe controls. We have a very risk management department, strong risk management departments. We have a risk committee, very strong risk committee, and an audit committee. who are following this. And whenever we find some defects, we are having the controls for this. So not in all cases, the aggressive growth leads to an accident. This is one point. The second point, from the social and green dimension, we are still learning this, the issue of the idea of the green dimension and the social. This is a new product, and we are still in the learning phase for this.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. And I see now the comment of the volume of your voice. I hope for the interpreters that you have managed now to translate. But I think with this overview, Govinda, you have here some strategies on how to avoid that accident. From John Mashak, thank you for attending. As I agree with you, the study is a small, simple size with a few microfinance institutions participating from Egypt, but hopefully we enable some digital platforms where we can enable further data management and larger studies in the future. Another question from John: are green products offered by the microfinance institutions available only to the formal or also the informal sector clients? So
Yeah,
for both, Tamwili,
both of them, both.
to both. Mm-hmm. And what about from Alexandria Business Association?
Sorry again, I had an issue with the sound.
If your products are available to the formal and the informal sector clients or only formal?
I believe it's not a final decision for us till now, but regarding the cost of the green economy, the products is highly expensive. The solar system units, it's not that cheap. It's expensive to buy a solar unit which will match with, let's say, a 10 is agriculture cultivated lands. I mean, okay. So I believe that will go more to the formal, although there is no final decision taken regarding that.
Okay, but the 30, so the entrepreneurs that participated in the program, they were formally, they had to be formally registered, or
yes,
could also
yes.
be, yes.
Yeah, because another point, if you will have a look on the winning projects, the industry itself needs a lot of governmental approvals.
Yes.
So anyway, he will be formal for us. He will not be able to work something like that, like the plastic recycling, like let's say the طاقتك production of equipment and all of this stuff. How he will sell it without a formal or governmental authorities approval, I mean.
All right, so I think
Natalie,
yes.
can I add something regarding the banking sector? For the banks which direct lending microfinance, there are they are lending to informal sector up to certain threshold without documentation, by the ID only. Customer can get microfinance loans starting from up to about 30,000 or 50,000 without any formal documentation. Just the ID of the customer. Above this threshold, the customer is obliged to get the formal documentation to get more amount of loan.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the contribution. We have another question from Abhinav Soni to Mr. Ahmed Khorshid. Would you like to read it directly?
Yeah, please. Yeah, sure. The question is, my question, good to see integration of several green financing products in your portfolio.
Hey, can you speak a little bit louder so that
yeah. Good to see integration.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good to see integrations of several green financing products in your portfolio. but were these products introduced after doing a market survey? Yes, we started in order to launch any new products and to get the approval from the FRA, we have to do our study first and to do a survey for this. And analyzing the needs of clientele. Also for sustainability, the 3,700 beneficiary considered for agriculture financing using climate smart agriculture. No, not all of them. Minority of them are using the climate smart agriculture. Still, we don't have the awareness of our customer for this kind of climate smart agriculture. We are aiming to have it to double the numbers of this. And the traditional agriculture method is still considering a significant source of GHG emissions, but maybe GHG emissions, okay. Let me tell you something about our existing customers related to the agricultures. Not all of them are purely agriculture. Somehow related activities related to the agriculture.
So not all of them have agriculture activities, but can be just related to, but not necessarily.
Yes, classified.
Classified.
Activity
it can be also small shops.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we have now as next question again from Nepal, Govinda, wondering to know how the green loans are utilized by microfinance clients. What are the major products and technologies that are being installed, purchased by the beneficiaries? So I think from ABA, if you can start, you mentioned about the high cost of the technologies. Can you describe more? What are those solar systems? For whom are them?
Solar system, as we mentioned before, it can be used for a lot of purposes. Mainly the simple situations that now the reclaimed lands, when they will go and the technical company which is providing the solar systems, they will go and make some measurements to identify what is the needed electrical power, so they will able to identify on the other hand the size, the number of solar systems, and if you will need, let's say, something like the batteries as well, which is expensive as well, and it needs to replace every 2 years or 1 year, as I remember. So for something like land with around, let's say, 2 kilometer square, if you are providing a complete solar system for them to depend only on it, this will be costly for them. Okay, especially now that all of these items it's imported for us in Egypt. So, and as you know that the US dollar now, what's the currency fluctuations which we are facing and all of that stuff. So it means that the cost of this item will be higher. I believe another solution, maybe it will be if the customer will contribute to 1% of the cost itself, okay, because this will be his asset at the end of the day. A down payment, something like down payment something of the down payment, like 20% or something. This will be good, yeah, for him.
Okay, thank you. And from Tamwili, could you describe who are those clients of at least the 30 green loans that you have already disbursed? Can you describe what type of activities, what type of technologies?
All of them, they have a land and they want a solar energy. They want a cellular solar in order to help them and to decrease the consumption of the gas itself that they are using during the heritage. And all of them, they are farmers.
Farmers willing to decrease their gas expenses.
Yes.
Good. So yeah, I think it's also good to see about the financial incentives and how important are these for the very expensive technologies. And we have a question for
And of
CBE.
course,
Yes.
when they will decrease the gas consumptions, also this will have an impact on the environment itself.
Yeah. And I hear there was also the comment, the importance and recommendation of measuring that environmental and social impact. So you're starting, it's a good start with those loans. You have now an opportunity also to work on the data that you have from those disbursements. But let's continue with the question for CBE. Does the Central Bank of Egypt collect and make available data on green loans made by microfinance institutions, number, value of loans disbursed, for which type of technology or sector, performance of those loans, NPLs, etc.?
As you know, that the MFIs are reporting to the Financial Regulatory Authority. They are the responsible regulatory authority for the MFIs, not the Central Bank of Egypt. So most of these reports are being issued by the Financial Regulatory Authority, and it's on the website of the FRA on monthly basis, the sectorial performance of the MFIs, whether agriculture, industrial, and so on.
But
and
not
from the center.
Yeah, not specifically yet on green loans.
No. Based on the sectorial segmentation of the customer.
Mm-hmm. So maybe will this be a requirement later over the years? Do you think it will be evolved that there will be the requirement of reporting on those data?
I think yes.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a more difficult question to you. This comes from the Ministry of Finance in Cameroon, Mr. Besong Ben Ayuk. He couldn't join at the beginning, but in terms of green inclusive finance, and because we have also shared some workshops together, he's interested to know what is a game changer from the regulator side in advancing in green finance in a country.
I can share this question with my colleague Shaina.
Yeah.
Could you please send it after the...
We will send the question to Shaima. She's the Deputy Manager of Sustainability of this Central Bank of Egypt. She couldn't stay after her presentation, but for sure the work that she's leading and that the department is doing will answer Besong this question. We have participants from Morocco, from Lebanon, from Palestine joining, giving thank you notes to every presentation. And I'm going now through the chat. Let me see if we have still from Mr. Abhinav Soni. I see that you have the video on. Would you like to pose the question directly?
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Thank you for the opportunity. Just to introduce myself, I am Abhinav Soni, working as an SDG rating manager with Agents for Impact, a German impact investment advisor. And the question is to Mr. Ahmed Nawar. Basically, the solar solutions that you are currently working on, I would like to understand, for these type of solutions, are you currently providing the direct ownership to the beneficiaries, direct ownership of the asset to the beneficiaries, or also adopting pay-as-you-go model for, so probably you might be leasing the asset initially, and over the time period, the ownership will be transferred after the loan amount has been repaid by the customer.
Regarding this point, as I see your question, I hear your question now, but I believe this will be a direct assets, because for some reasons, I believe that depending on something which is pay as you go, this will put the system itself, the solar, from the technical point of view, it will be at risk of damage. So it's better that if you will have something like a direct assets related to the owner of the project itself, this will be better.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm not
thank you.
sure
Thank you for the answer.
And I see we have two more questions. And also because the interpreters for them has been hard work, but these are very short questions to you from Atafik Microfinance in Morocco. They're asking, how do you motivate the loan officers in green finance? And from John Maishak, last question is, how do you classify activities? What are the criteria that you use for your green loans? So if each of you can decide which question would you like to answer, and briefly, so that we can now show the video and close the webinar. Who has, how do you do to motivate the loan officers? If you have a recipe.
Natalia, I can answer this question based on experience in different projects that already offered green product. When we start the implementation and before designing the product itself, we did a lot of awareness session to front office team and also non-officer regarding the importance of such products and its environmental impact. This is from the awareness point of view, but let's be honest with ourselves, loan officers are more interested in their financial incentives. So when we design the product, we create a specific incentives for marketing such product, and also in some cases we had to put like a percentage in the portfolio for each branch or each loan officers, what we call it green portfolio. And also the design of the green product itself should be more flexible and provide loan officers with promotional materials and a lot of stuff to make the marketing of such initiative product more easier. And also incentives for borrowers like non-financial services and all other type of incentives for the borrower to make marketing of this product is much easier for loan officers. This is based on the experience before we had in Morocco and also in Jordan, Lebanon for this.
So takeaways, incentives, training, and awareness.
Yes. It's
Very
a package of incentives.
The package, the not cheap package.
Not only financial, but awareness. It also should be there.
Yes, and the last one to Mr. Nawar or Mr. Corchet, which tools do you use, or what criteria you use? Which activity, equipment, technology is green or not? If you use EBRD technology catalog or not?
I believe it's not a matter of a tool, it's a matter of the market research. At the beginning, we have to search for which industry, and this is what we started, to find out which industries we can support them, and it will fit with the green economy. As even I mentioned during my last 2 slides of my presentation, this is an idea, and you are investigating it and find out what will be the customer journey, because sometimes maybe if we'll calculate the cost of such element and you will go and discuss with the customer that you have to pay this, you will pay this amount even on installments, and on the other hand, there is a current situation where he don't have an issue. Will not be easy to convince him. Okay, for that reason, I mentioned in my presentation the reclaimed lands as well. Reclaimed lands, it's an issue, and to keep the continuous supply of petrol for the water pumps and other machines which is used. So they moving to the solar energy for all purposes, whatever the irrigation of the lands. Maybe if he has his house as well, he wants to get some the light production. in his house, water desalination or something like that. So at this time, this is will be easy for him and affordable because he has another issue and he won't solve it, and he will get benefits as well. We have to consider the cost benefit ratio, which is something you have to convince the customer as well to move forward and to
Yes.
convert. You have to mention to him what will be the cost benefit ratio for him and how he will change and how he will change, how he will solve his problem, his current problem, to move on and accept your new solutions with all the and the package and the offer which you will offer him as well.
Yeah, I think that the question, and because I see many microfinance institutions and also staying until already over time that we are in the webinar, when they are offering the microfinance products, they struggle to identify, is this technology green or not? One thing is to understand what the clients need, but the other one is to define whether this technology can have a special incentive or can have these special conditions because I have called it sustainable or green. In some countries and with large programs, there are this type of catalogs or this type of qualifications or lists where they say these are these technologies that you can apply for. So here in this case for Egypt, the question is still open. How are you doing this as microfinance institutions?
It's a matter of marketing, a general rule in marketing that it's a matter of choosing your right customer segment, which your product will fit with them. So this is simply the question, and based on the research and the field visits and the group discussions as well with some industries, you will get some information which will guide you simply, and give you the answer. This industry will fit or will not fit.
Yes, I am also fan of first identifying what are the client's needs, and this is one
because
of
I can say one more example for you, that if you will go to Delta, okay,
yes.
where water is available and there is no issue, the cost of fuel or petrol for any farmer will not exceed 5,000-6,000 per year. So if you want to convince him to move on and change to the solar energy and pay this amount for around 2 years and all of that stuff, this will not be an easy mission at all.
Yes.
And how many of them will accept this idea?
True. And yeah, so that, well, again, no, the needs of the clients versus what can be offered. Mr. Kosha, do you have a final message or should we go directly to the video?
I agree with my colleague Ahmed Nawar, and it's totally,
Yes.
we have a market study for this in order to have these products and in order to convince the customers for this products.
Thank you. So to close today, and as we had as well in the first webinar with Yemen, we are going to share a video from the microfinance institution Tamwili, who was interested also to showing about their work. We're here.
إننا في تمويلي هدفنا دايما هو الريادة في مجال الاستثمار والتمويل. جزء من رؤيتنا بالاستثمار في إنشاء فرع أخضر جديد عشان نكمل الرحلة اللي بدأناها في قرية أسطال في محافظة المنيا، واللي فتحنا فيها أول فرع أخضر للتمويل في مصر والوطن. إن تاني فرع أخضر مستدام على مستوى الجمهورية من تمويلي يكون في الفيوم. والنهارده عندنا أصبح من أول التصميم الذكي إلى خطة التنفيذ وتثبيت ألواح الطاقة الشمسية عشان يتم تشغيل الفرع بالكامل بالطاقة النظيفة. مش كده وبس، فرع أخضر مستدام يعني معاملات غير ورقية، وده شيء هتلاحظه بمجرد ما تدخل الفرع وتلاقي إننا استبدلنا كل الورقيات بالأجهزة اللوحية والتابلتس اللي بيتم عمل كل الإجراءات من خلالها وتخزين البيانات. ده غير إجراءات ترشيد الموارد اللي بنتبعها بالكامل داخل الفرع.
مفهوم الاستدامة هو إن إحنا نقدر نستخدم الموارد الطبيعية اللي موجودة حوالينا مع حفظ حق الأجيال اللي جاية في استخدامها للموارد الطبيعية. والوصف الأنسب لتوصيف مفهوم رحلتنا الاستراتيجية في تبني مفهوم الاستدامة إنها فقط البداية.
تمويلي كان ليها السبق والريادة في إطلاق أول منتج للتمويل الأخضر، كمان افتتاح أول فرع يعمل بالطاقة النظيفة في مصر والشرق الأوسط والقطاع المالي غير المصرفي. والنهاردة إحنا في محافظة الفيوم بنفتتح فرع طامية ليكون تاني فرع بيعمل بالطاقة النظيفة، وكمان بتساعد في تخفيف أثر المخاطر اللي بيتعرض ليها الاقتصاد والمجتمع والبيئة.
دي مجرد البداية. تمويلي سبق، فكرت ونفذت، ودي دعوة لكل الشركات المصرية إنها تتبع وتستثمر في مجال التنمية المستدامة. مستقبل أخضر يعني أكيد مستقبل.
I think it's a perfect message to close this webinar, an invitation to all microfinance institutions, to the microfinance stakeholders to think about sustainability. And as you see here, we have many participants that are eager to learn, also others eager to offer their help, microfinance networks that are working directly with their members, understanding what are their needs and addressing them in different types of offers. As here, our co-host from Sanabel, an invitation to join the Sanabel conference taking place from the 20 to the 23 of November. And of course, an invitation to join us in our upcoming webinar sessions covering next one's Morocco, Lebanon, Palestine. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you to the panelists, to the co-host Sanabel, and as well to the interpreters team for your great support, Edera technical team that made possible connecting us today in Zoom and having all the logistics set, as well to Sanad Fund for MSMEs, Technical Assistance Facility, financing this webinar series, and FinDev Gateway for promoting these events. If you have any message, you can turn on your microphones, your videos, and we can close today the session. Thank you for staying until now. I see that it raised great interest, your inputs. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Ms. Yusri.